Another day of dangerous temperatures in the Northwest, melting records.
Hotter than 100 degrees.
Salem, Oregon, setting an all-time high at 117 degrees. In Portland, where the typically cool weather means not everyone has AC, families escaping to museums to cool off.
Pretty unprecedented. Pretty bad.
Others moving to cooling centers after power outages Sunday left thousands in the dark.
I mean, it's already bad enough not having air conditioning, but to have no power at all in this heat is dangerous.
In Eugene, NCAA champ Talia Brooks fainting during the Olympic trials over the weekend.
She's been transported to a hospital by ambulance, and we've also been told she is okay.
For 3 days in 2021, which you just saw right there, it was so hot in the Pacific Northwest that hundreds of people were hospitalized. In Oregon alone, 69 people died. Meteorologists attributed the record-breaking temperatures to a heat dome that trapped hot air over the region. Now, Oregon's biggest county, Multnomah, is suing the oil and gas industry, blaming ExxonMobil, Shell, Chevron, BP, and others for causing those injuries and deaths, and asking for billions in damages, arguing in court documents filed yesterday that extreme heat was a direct and foreseeable consequence of the defendant's decision to sell as many fossil fuel products over the last 6 decades as they could, and to lie to the county, the public, and the scientific community about the catastrophic harm that pollution from those products into the Earth's and county's atmosphere would cause. That's directly from the court documents. Joining me now from Multnomah County is Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega Pederson. Jessica, thank you very much for being here. This suit is following a line of suits that have been filed around the country to hold the oil and gas industry accountable for the harm that they've caused to the atmosphere. What is the underlying argument that you are raising?
Yeah, there are a lot of suits that are going forward to hold these companies accountable, to hold these trade associations accountable for the misinformation and the lies that they've been putting out there, while we have been, really paying for this with our dollars and unfortunately with people's lives because of the impacts of climate change. What happened in Oregon in the Pacific Northwest here in Multnomah County was that we have a very specific 3-day event where we had temperatures that were 40 degrees Fahrenheit above normal, that led to deaths, that led to extreme costs and actions that the county had to take on in order to respond to that. And this heat dome event has been, through scientific research, directly tied to the impacts of climate change.
This is kind of like the argument that was made against big tobacco, and that was a successful argument. Do you believe that this is similar enough to get the same result?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think that we have seen, whether it's been opioid cases, whether it's been big tobacco, we have seen time and time again these companies that have been putting out disinformation, lies to the public to prevent them from being held responsible for the impacts that their products are having to humanity, to our communities. And this case is specifically about the fairness and accountability that's needed to cause them to change their behavior. If we wait for them to do it on their own, we're going to be waiting forever. So it was important for me, it was important for my board on the county commission to go forward with this case so that we can be holding them accountable in our courts.
There's not a lot of debate about the effects of climate change. When you look at the totality of the science, the vast majority of climate scientists will tell you what this is doing and who is responsible. But there are some people who will argue that it's unknown. And given that this is not a science that is as, I'm not going to say that it's not as concrete, but that there are people out there who will claim it's not. Is it harder to bring these cases to trial? Is that why we've seen these other cases, so many of them, not get to the trial stage quite yet? Because you can find a scientist who will tell you whatever you want to hear, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, and these corporations have found those scientists. And I think that is the piece. I don't think there is any question in climate science about that our climate is warming and that humans are responsible for that warming. And the fact that there is questions about it, there are people who will argue against it, I think is a result of this disinformation and lies that we've been hearing from these companies for decades. One of our attorneys that we're working with says, like, they have known about this since 1965. They were talking about our products are having this impact and there was time to make change. That was decades. That was before my lifetime ago. What we need to be doing is holding them accountable today, right now, with the proven science, with what research has proven is causing these things, because we don't have a moment to lose. Our climate keeps warming, and the impacts we're feeling here in Multnomah County, we had the smoke on the East Coast that was just happening in the last couple of weeks, where the sky was orange there, just like it was orange for us in fall of 2020. We can't wait another day to take this action, and the science is there with us.
The discovery process will be crucial. Jessica Vega Pederson, thank you very much for joining us. I just want to read a couple statements from Exxon and from Chevron. Suits like these continue to waste time, resources, and do nothing to address climate change. This action has no impact on our intention to invest billions of dollars to leading the way in a thoughtful energy transition that takes the world to net zero carbon emissions. Chevron also called the lawsuit unconstitutional and a counterproductive distraction. Again, Jessica, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate it. And that is going to do it for me today. Deadline White House starts right now.